Hello everyone, Treecks here, and welcome back to Zelda 2. Yeah, I always like to play around, you know me. But anyway, this is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. While I'm playing around, let's briefly summarize what we have been doing so far. We are at Palace number 3. We are still on our way to collecting the Triforce of Wisdom. No, Triforce of Courage. Let's not mix up my lore. Oh, I don't like these guys. Ow. Usually the downward thrust is pretty useful against these guys, but they still hurt a lot if they hit you with their maces, which they throw around like boomerangs. But yeah, it's the Triforce of Courage that we're looking for, because Zelda is still in an eternal slumber, and we'd like to break that curse, and we can only do that by wishing with the Triforce, and for that we need to complete Thing. We've only got 2 parts after the last game. And we need the 3rd one, and in order to get to the Great Palace where the 3rd one is hidden, we need to get crystals placed in the 6 other palaces before we can even enter the Great Palace. Yep, just in case you were wondering what the story was again. No real need to say that, but still. I really like to get these guys stuck. Like I said, I always like to play around. Yeah, get used to it. If you're going to follow this channel, get used to this, these funny little things that I usually pull off. But yeah, the 3rd palace. Now let's get serious. I think this, I think it's called Island Palace officially, but I think it is pretty easy. It's not. This is not a place you can get lost in. I'm pretty sure. It's pretty linear in comparison to some of the others. You may wonder... Oh, thank you. You may wonder what we are going to do once we finish up this place, because if you have been paying attention, you may have noticed that overworld-wise... Oh, no, not one of you again. I don't like you. I'm going to go underneath you. I'm going to tunnel my way through you. Oh, there's a pea back here. Yeah, let's finish my story. Overworld-wise, you may have noticed that we basically already... Oh, didn't think this through. There's no way back up. Okay, I thought I was being fancy, but reality gained up on me. Bye. I'm not gonna care for you. You're just going to kill me. And I don't feel like that happening. Oh, Iron Knuckles. It's a red one, so I should be able to handle this. It's the blue ones that are really tricky. I don't think we have seen those yet. Oh, level up apparently. I wasn't paying attention. Well, anyway, level 5 for attack, finally. I still want to heal though. Bam. Full on everything. Just like I'd like to see. This is obviously too high to jump. Okay. Am I finally going to finish my story? Answer, no. I'm still going to try. Like I said, the overworld has been fully explored already. If you have been paying attention, you might have seen that we've been basically everywhere. And the key to how this game progresses further is actually in this dungeon and is related to the dock that we saw close to Nabooru Town. Right, if you go here, you'll actually go outside of the dungeon. Yeah, first you want to ignore this elevator. The way this dungeon works is pretty linear. What you're going to want to do here is fully cover the 1st floor, then go down, then fully cover the floor below it, the 1st basement. Get all the keys and everything, and the dungeon item is on that floor as well, the one we're going to now. Now you want to fully cover this floor, and then it's a matter of going to the 2nd basement floor where the boss is. It's pretty linear in comparison to other dungeons. The only thing you need to do is realize that you need to fully cover a floor, getting all the keys and other stuff. And other stuff, I mean the dungeon item in this case. Oh, dang it! So annoying when that happens. Such a waste of life. I might game over in this place. I've been calling this place easy, but yeah, only the traversing this place is easy. Did not mention the platforming or the enemies. That can always be tricky, of course. The further we get in the game, the trickier that becomes. It'd be nice if I at least get the dungeon item before game over. All these iron knuckles. Not that big of a problem. Oh, here we go. Blue iron knuckle, one of the most annoying enemies in the game. What makes these guys so annoying is they basically work the same way any other iron knuckle does, but these guys have sword beams. They throw their swords. It's really hard to avoid them, especially in these narrow places. Come on! I need to heal. I'm not going to make this. Get... Oh, come on! Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'm not going to make this. I'm going to game over. I can't life spell anymore. But at least we've got the dungeon item before I get thrown back to North Palace. Which is the raft. Like I said, the dock is involved. This raft allows us to cross docks in the overworld. Just like in the first Zelda game. In fact, there's only one dock present in this game. The one we just saw near Nabooru Town. It's the only one in this game, and we need that to expand the overworld. Because don't think that everything we've seen from Hyrule so far in the overworld is the entirety of Hyrule. There are supposed to be 6 palaces, 6 crystals we need to place. Yet in this Hyrule, we only can find 3 of them. The other 3 are actually in Eastern Hyrule. But more on that later. First we need to survive this place. Not going to happen, by the way. Stupid wolf heads. Ah, come on. Usually they are not that hard to deal with, but once they appear from both sides, then the problems become a thing. Oh, P-back, thank you. I'm afraid I'm going to lose these experience points, but yeah, that's also what happens when you game over. Then it's bye-bye experience points, you return to 0. There we go. Yeah, was kinda not that big of a surprise. Alright, there's no need for the traversing back to that place to be on video. It's not that far, luckily. Just getting back to the graveyard and then entering the palace again. I'll see you back in the room where I died. And this is the room where I died, right? Right after the elevator to the boss floor. Yeah, this is... Oh, you're the guy who killed me, actually. Revenge! It is mine! Thank you! Managed to get up back to a pretty decent amount of experience points. So I should be able to level up before the final boss. This room is annoying, by the way. Looking at these breakable blocks and looking at that key there, you can kind of guess what the gist is here. I'm going to do it like this. You can go in from underneath, from above, tunneling your way downward with the downward thrust. But I think this way it's a little bit easier, because this way you can see the wolf heads coming. Okay, we need to jump our way out. You can just go all the way to the right, tunneling your way through, but that's going to take forever. So I'm willing to sacrifice some magic in order to jump my way out of here. Once again, once they start spawning from both sides, then this becomes annoying. Really hard to dodge. Don't want to lose too much life. Okay, I lost 2 bars. I can live with that. I haven't died yet on my way here, so I have all my lives still. Right, now that we have done everything on this floor, it's time to go to the final floor of this place, which is just a straight line towards the boss chamber. Nothing too special. It would be pretty ooh. Me want. Because I still want to level up before the boss. I'm pretty close to the boss, actually. Oh, yeah, I need to defeat you, actually. I need your experience points. Usually bosses give you 200 experience, so yeah, this should be sufficient. 1381, so if I kill the boss, I should level up. And we are not at the boss yet, so... Need to jump again. I have no magic, so... Shield spells or life spells are no longer a thing. Oh, dead end. I need to go down. That iron knuckle is going to be a thing. Hopefully the blue one will stay out of sight. Okay. Ooh. Tempting. Very tempting. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip out on it. Don't want to waste my life with that blue one, and I still have enough experience points to level up before the statue, because it is boss time. After Horsehead and Helmet Head, yeah, original names. It's actually what these guys are called. It's time for the third boss, which is also not very original. We have Mounted Iron Knuckle. It's just an Iron Knuckle on a horse. And it's a jousting game. He actually has a joust, and we are going to have to hit him, usually with downward thrust. That's the best strategy when he passes by. It is of course also possible to do it without it. The downward thrust is not a required item, or not a required technique. I must say, it's not really an item. It's still possible to do this guy with it, without it, but it is really hard. Downward thrust makes this guy very easy. Just wait for him to charge at you, jump out of the way, and while jumping, hit him. Either with a regular sword attack or a downward thrust. And after... he wins. Okay, what I was trying to say, after he loses enough health, he loses his mount, he becomes a regular blue Iron Knuckle with a little bit more health, because I'm pretty sure he takes more hits than a regular blue Iron Knuckle does. But all with all, he can be pretty tricky, as you can see. He killed me, so he's no pushover. But he is a pretty easy boss when it comes to what you have to do. It's not really hard to find out what you have to do. Just in case. Okay, there we go. Regular blue Iron Knuckle we can deal with. Right? Right? Don't go off screen. I'm pretty sure there's a glitch in this game where if you push a boss too far off screen, he can despawn. That he doesn't appear anymore. Okay, there we go. 300 points is enough for the level up. Level 6 live. And we are getting another one because we're placing the crystal, pushing us up to the next magic upgrade as well. Palace number 3, the Island Palace, one of the easiest ones, I think, is done. Give me that level up. We only need 7 more. Yeah, we're quite on schedule. We're basically a little bit halfway, because this marks the end of Western Hyrule. We have done everything. We have done everything we can. We have traversed everything. Grabbed everything. It is time we see Hyrule's other half, which I usually refer to as welcome to the hard part of the game, because this is the easy part of Hyrule. Let's go to where this game becomes hard. Okay, we have seen how it works. It's just a matter of getting there. We know where the progression of this story is taking place. At the dock near Nabooru Town. Let's get there quickly. Bam. Last time we couldn't interact with it, but the raft we found in the Island Palace makes us able to get to the next part of Hyrule. Is everybody ready? Because I am not. This is usually the place that destroys me. Welcome to Eastern Hyrule, where the enemies become a lot harder, where the dungeons are a lot harder. And we immediately get thrown into a random encounter with Tektites. And Tektites we actually cannot do anything about. As you can see, we can attack them all we want. We can do nothing to them. Already seeing the fact that enemies are going to be a lot tougher here. Like these eyeball enemies. Don't ask me how they are called. They only appear in this game, so they are not in my collective Zelda memory. I should know what they are called. It's just a little bit in the back of my memory, and don't really have the energy to dig that out. But anyway, this lone little forest has a pea bag, so go in here for that. But the first thing you're going to want to do here in Eastern Hyrule is, when you traverse the grass area here, you will find a town immediately. let's go explore that, because of course Eastern Hyrule also has towns with people and upgrades. Welcome to Nabooru. I cannot help you. Once again, all these NPCs that just walk around the town trying to make the town feel alive. Usually don't really have that much to talk about. It's usually the people standing still and the people in houses you're going to want to interact with. With boots, I could walk on the water. That's a little hint for the next dungeon. Guess what item we're going to get in the next dungeon. An old lady here, which is a magic healer, of course. The old ladies are always the magic healers. Hello. You I want, because life I do want to heal. Oh, you're not the healer. You are the one who is going to give us the upgrade. I am thirsty, she says. Want to get some water? If you interact with this fountain, you can get some water. And this woman was talking about being thirsty. You have water. Come to my house. Come in for a cup of tea. No, we are here for the old man, your father, your uncle, whatever he is. Because, like I said, towns means magic. This town's magic is... This magic will make your sword shoot fire. And we learned the fire spell. Remember in an earlier town where someone was talking about if everything else fails, use fire? This is what they were referring to. If you use this magic, you can actually shoot fire from your sword. And don't think this is just a variant of the sword beams, because the fire is actually required to beat some enemies. Remember how the Tektites we met the first time we entered this part of Hyrule, we were unable to defeat them. And that's basically how the fire spell works. Every enemy you cannot defeat with your sword, you have to use the fire magic in order to defeat them. Usually I don't bother, because once again it is a magic, so... Jump in a hole in the palace if you go. More on that later. There's actually a dungeon later coming up where that is relevant. You? See a man in the Runia before the islands. Also a hint for later. Yeah, well, NPCs walking around usually don't have too much to say. The river devil eats those who are weak. I have no idea what that's referring to, in all honesty. Oh, hello. Another monster that's sleeping. Just like the previous one. Talk to it enough times and it'll eventually talk to you. This one is annoying because it's hanging on the ceiling. You are persistent. Find heart over ocean. A hint of where a heart container is hidden. Over the ocean, it says. You need to combine this hint with one of the other hints we just got in this town. Use the boots to walk over water. But first we need the boots. I will talk about this later, once we get the boots. But there's a couple of hints for a lot of future things here. So most of the things that people have been talking about don't really mean too much. Yeah, don't mind me jumping around. Usually I roll around in the Zelda game because just regular walking around I think is too boring, so I start rolling. But in this game you can't roll, so I usually just jump around. Yeah, like I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, I'm a clown. Get used to it. I walk around like this. I'm an idiot, I need help. Okay, where are we going next? There's a path here that walks into the ocean. Remember those hints about walking on water? This path does not go into the ocean for nothing. There's not really something we can do about it quite yet. Okay, these Tektites we can defeat with fire. I'm not going to bother because I don't want to sacrifice magic just to defeat some enemies. I could show it off at some point. Right now I want to traverse to the next place where we want to go. And where do we want to go? Well, there's a new part of Hyrule we're in, so we need to collect some things. This is a 100% playthrough after all. What do we find in this cave, south of Nabooru? First of all, annoying scorpion enemies that are annoying to defeat. You can only hit them in the eye, so you need to wait for them to open their eye and be careful for their fireballs. Yeah, Link's not the only one with fire magic. Usually these guys are more trouble than they are worth. You don't need fire spell to defeat them. You can regularly defeat them, but you need to hit them in the eye, and they close their eyes a lot, so pretty hard to hit. Okay, next up is this rock over here. Get away from me. Once again, as you can see, these enemies can also not be hurt with regular sword attacks, so these enemies you also need the fire spell in order to defeat. And we also get introduced to levers. Remember those from the first Zelda game? Guys that come out of the sand. And anyway, we're on our way across this little ledge over here, this small little beach. Because of course, this is going to house something. Be careful for the enemy encounters here. Usually they're not that hard. These sand areas usually just have levers and octo rocks. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And this is what we meet up here. This ledge is too high to jump. English, help. Get that P back and get out of here. And oh, my time is up. I've not been paying attention. So I think I'm going to call it here. We did another dungeon today. One that I completely destroyed because it was so easy. I still game overed in that place. Not talking about that. But yeah, Dungeon 3 is one of the easiest dungeons in this game. That is going to be over next time. Dungeon 4, I'm going to try to find. With that I mean I'm going to, because I already know where it is. But these P-back locations are the last thing we're doing today. Next time we're going towards dungeon number 4. Because once again, like Western Hyrule, this Eastern Hyrule is also going to house 3 dungeons for us. Time for the first one. Next time. See you next time. Treecks out.